Bible Baptist Church has a long history, and that history is best told by the members. All of the following members were interviewed and asked these questions. Tell us about when you came to Bible Baptist Church. About what year? Did your whole family come, or was it individually? If you were saved, please include a short testimony. Tell us about a special memory at Bible Baptist Church. How are you or have you served at Bible Baptist Church? What are you most thankful for about Bible Baptist Church? What excites you the most about the future here at Bible Baptist Church?
My name is Ann Sales. I joined Bible Baptist Church in July of 1971, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, I'm David Sales. I actually come to Bible Baptist Church when my older brother was in the youth group in 1966. He come to something was going on with the youth, and he got saved. And he asked me to come to watch him be baptized in 1966, and that was my first time to come to church, or Bible Baptist Church. For me, a special memory was when I came in 1976. I'd never been baptized. I got saved when I was 13 years old at Calvary Baptist Church. I lived half a block from Calvary Baptist, and I went up there as a little boy or young boy, and a few services, and heard the word in Sunday school. And the question was asked, if does anyone in here want to be saved? And of course, I raised my hand immediately because I wanted to be saved. And I went home and told my parents or family that I'd gotten saved, and they kind of brushed it off like it didn't mean anything. So from the age 13 till I was 23 maybe, I didn't do anything for God. I went to church, and but nothing was ever done. So as far as me going forward for baptism, but when I was 23, was kind of at the end of our rope as far as the life that was living. And a preacher by the name of Jesse Simon come and knocked on the door of the pastor of the church at that time and talked to me and told me he wanted me to come, and invited me to come, and I was so more than willing to come. And I don't know if it was that Sunday or the next, I came forward and give my life to the Lord and was a candidate for baptism. And I think that's the most memorable time that I had here at Bible Baptist.
I was secretary for 30 years. I also taught 4th, 5th, and 6th grade girls for about 15 years. And now I just come around when I'm needed and try to do whatever they need me to do.
I did the same thing. I taught the 4th and 5th grade boys. I don't know how many years that I was there. I helped on the bus. The kids, all the kids loved the bus because we sang songs from the start of the bus to the end of the ride, and that was a real thrill to the kids. And I've served as the church treasurer. I can't tell you how many years that I did, and I guess that's about it.
I'm very thankful for the heart of our church in winning souls to the Lord and helping people grow and seeing the kids come and willing to learn.
Me, myself, I'm so thankful for this church, for the people that's here. I love all the people that's here. I can't wait. All these years, I don't know how many years we've been going here. It's been quite, I don't know the number, but I just love to come and fellowship with the people. I know they love me and I love them back. They've been with me through very, very hard times, supported me through lots of surgeries, And I would not be here without God's people and have them praying for us as a family. And I love them to death.
What excites me most about Bible Baptist Church in the future is raising our kids and seeing the kids excited to serve the Lord, and can't wait to see what He does in the lives of our youth and our kids at our church.
What excites me the most is seeing my kids grow up, and we prayed for them their whole life that God would use them. And my daughter's in the youth, works in the youth, Lori, and my other daughter works in Oklahoma City at their church. And I just watched them, God answer prayer, and I'm looking at the grandkids coming up, and I'm just excited to see what they're going to do. They all talk about, I've had some of them talk about going to be a preacher, and some of them talks about other things. But I'm excited to see them come up to serve God.
My name's Gary Aldridge. I started coming here when I was, I don't remember, young. And my first recollection of a pastor would be Brother Jack York. And as far as my salvation experience, I made a profession when I was around 8. But I realized later on in life, at the age of 21, that I was not saved. So I gave my life to the Lord then.
My name's Donna Aldridge, and I came in 1975. Mrs. Marie Lovelace, her and her husband would come and pick me up and bring me. Then in 1976, I was saved. Sister Simon led me to the Lord. Brother Simon was our pastor then. And then, this is where we met, and we got married 5 months before Brother Kim took over pastor. So we've been here for the long haul.
My special memory would be being able to come to church here with my Grandma O'Brien and my dad and mom early on through life, all the way through just a few years ago. That's my special memory.
Well, in 45 years, there are a lot of memories. And there's some really hilarious ones that I could probably tell that my kids would never let me live it down. Like church camp and going through bags of socks and underwear to find their names on them because they refused to bring theirs back home with them. Oh. And really that's where my memories lie, is with my kids. Yes. They were saved here, watching them go through church camps and growing up in the youth department, and just, our kids never asked us if we were going to church, but I never felt like we had to make our kids go to church. So that's my memories, is with them.
I started out helping bus ministry at the old church. Worked into assistant treasurer, music ministry, sound, media, and currently deacon, and also most currently would be mission treasurer. And missions is really got a good spot in my heart. My dad was mission treasurer and really promoted missions, and I love being there.
Well, and he has to, when he talks about starting with the sound and media, it was a door off to the side of the pulpit with a hole in the door about this big, where he stood and peeked through while Brother Dave did this, or Gary did this or this. So there's lots of fun memories thinking about that
lots
too.
Lots of memories, yes.
I started out teaching Sunday school when I was 8th grade. Our church was small then, and they needed somebody, and I wanted it so bad, but they thought I was too young. And I can remember Helen Hobing stepping up and saying, I promise you, if you put her in there, she'll do what she needs to do. And I taught Sunday school for a long time. We ended up with a college and career, which to this day still has a special place in my heart. I've done things like the Welcome Center, and I'm assistant to the church clerk now. So just a lot of different things over the years. I'm thankful that we have a church that preaches the gospel, who disciples people, but it's the people at Bible Baptist Church that make Bible Baptist Church. A lot of them are in heaven now that made a huge impact on my life. And I mean, I could sit here and name off names and you'd know right who they were. But they're still people. This church, these people are my family. And
Sometimes more family than.
well, they're just, if we have a hard time, if we have a good time, we can pick up the phone and call, and we know that moment they're dropping to their knees.
The future would be knowing that my grandkids and kids that go to church, and that my grandkids have an opportunity to hear the gospel and one day be saved is our prayer, and that they would carry on tradition, the legacy of Grandma Bryant all the way through, and keep it going.
Yeah, we hope to get to see what our grandkids will, where they'll end up serving, what kind of impact they can make on Bible Baptist Church, and how Christ will be able to be glorified and all that.
Yeah, that's our prayer.
My name is Danny Sterling. I originally came to Bible Baptist Church in 1964 as a teenager. In 1968, my wife and I got married, and we lived in Ellick for a while. So for 2 or 3 years, we went to church in Ellick, and then when we moved back to Chickasha, we ended up back at Bible Baptist Church. And down the road a little bit, we left for another short period of time to help with the church and came back in '85. So off and on since 1964, I've been around here.
I was baptized. I came by affirmation of faith, and I was baptized by Brother York. Shortly after we moved up here. Mm-hmm. So we're going to say
70, 71.
Yeah, somewhere around in there.
Well, there's a lot of memories. All the major things in my family happened at Bible Baptist Church. All my kids have been saved in Bible Baptist Church. My sweet grandmother that raised me was baptized and saved in Bible Baptist Church.
She was saved along with Christy, I know.
She was saved with Christy and Angie.
Well, Angie didn't make it the first time. Yeah. She saw the water and screamed and walked away. But later on, she was.
Those are all major things. And of course, one thing that I remember real well is when I was sick the last time and spent so much time in a hospital, the church cared enough about me and us that they actually called me live from a worship service and talked to me while I was in the hospital. And that meant a lot to me.
What I really enjoyed about it was the mission trips. Danny, I think, took one trip with the youth before I got to go. And of course, he just got his brand new pickup, and that was his pride and joy. First time over the line, he got rammed, so his precious little pickup got indoctrinated then. Then I was able to go to Monterey on the next 2 trips that we took. I believe I even went, well, Cheyenne got to go with us on 2 of them. And I think on one of them, she was riding with Howie. And just so happens with them being of a different, you might say, complexion, they were detained for a little while and held. But later on, they finally let them go. So I remember that. And then I remember one of the trips, I think, when we went to help them build the parsonage, we went to another church location. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about the, they didn't call it the honor seat, but they were talking about the toilet lid being the throne. And while we were having lunch at one of the locations, one of our ladies was out walking around and she happened to pick up one. Her husband got a little upset about it.
Well, I've gone on several mission trips, but I've done things in the church. I work as a Sunday school superintendent now and have for 25, 30 years, maybe a little longer. I've worked in the sound for the church. I ran the sound in the old building and work in the music ministry here in the church and have for a long time.
And you had a gospel group at one time.
We had a gospel group at one time, sang every Sunday morning. When Brother Simon was here, we sang every Sunday morning. So I've been doing music here for a long time.
And when we were in the old church, I did some janitorial work. I also had, I don't remember what grade, but I taught Sunday school. And then later on, they did a reassigning, and Phyllis Sitterdine and I took over the nursery during Sunday school because a lot of times she was in there by herself. And that's a very impressionable on young people in the nursery, seeing the same one. So there's been a lot of these older generation in the church now that I had in the nursery, our outreach.
I believe the outreach, like my wife said, the way that we have become so active in the community since Brother Steve has become the pastor, because he's become known in the city, in the organizations, and is working in some of the organizations, the LSI and the Soup Kitchen and all those things. And the public is beginning to see what we do, and the outreach that we have on the city of Chickasha and even further, I think is going to be really great in the future.
During this COVID-19, and we haven't started our Sunday school yet, like I walked in this morning and Brother Dave had the young ones sitting down in front talking to them. And that's interacting with them. That's including them in the study.
Just becoming more and more involved in people's lives.
And Brother
And by
Steve,
that, they're reaching out.
and by Brother Steve keeping Brother Kim, because Brother Kim grew up in the church. So we relate to him and he relates to us. He's helped my family a lot with just
Being there.
being there. I mean, I could call him at any time and say, hey, I
He's
need
always
prayer.
there.
Yeah.
Brother Steve's always there.
And it always bothered him if he happened to forget a certain minor surgery or something. It really bothers him.
I'm thankful for the people in Bible Baptist Church, the way that they love each other. When you're down and having problems, there's somebody always there to pick you up. When you're sick, there's somebody always bringing you something to help you around the house, whether it's food or whatever. I just think we have the greatest people in the world.
It's more of a family.
It's a family. It's just not people, it's family.
I'm Danny Wright. This is my wife Donna. We started at Bible Baptist in the early 90s. I think it's around, what, 91, 92?
91.
Been here ever since. I think it would no doubt be the Israel trip. I never dreamed years ago that I'd ever have a chance to go to Israel, and I've been twice. To step inside the tomb is a memory you'll never forget, and that's the one thing that has stuck in my mind. What about you?
All the missionary trips was great.
Yeah.
He just
We've been to Monterey twice,
Yeah.
missionary trips, and that was a life-changing experience. You get to see where your mission money goes.
Willie Mae talked about somebody that found a toilet seat on that mission trip.
Yeah,
go there.
she went dumpster diving.
Got in trouble for that one.
I've been a trustee, and I'm currently the Judas of BBC. I'm the treasurer,
Judas.
and
And I'm his assistant.
well, not
Not, yeah.
Not technically. You just help me every now and then. And so that's what right now I'm still the treasurer. I'm thankful that we have two pastors, Brother Steve, Brother Kim, that sticks to the Bible, and and the doctrine. We hold firm on doctrine, and that, to me, that's what makes the church, is doctrine. And Brother Kim, Brother Steve, if you come into this church lost and you leave lost, that's your own fault, because the gospel will be preached to you. And we're a missionary church, and you can't be a good church without supporting missionaries. And that's one thing that Donna and I have done throughout our ministry here. We have supported, we've supported mission projects all over the world, and I wouldn't take for that.
I am most thankful for the friends in the church, and
I think Brother Steve has great plans for this church. I know he's excited about growth as far as building satellite churches. I know that once this COVID is over with, hopefully our attendance will be back where it was, because we was running 400 and 500 prior to the COVID. So I know that our attendance will be up, get right back up, and the fellowship to be able to get back with their friends and fellowship. And it was always nice to come in on Sunday morning, back there in the back in our Sunday school class, to be able to sit down with your friends and just enjoy the fellowship. Mm-hmm. But I know Brother Steve has great plans for this church.
Go ahead.
Hi, we're Ken and Bridget Mowry. We came to church in 2016.
September, yes.
Mm-hmm. It's been 4 years. Our daughter, our fourth child, was a baby, a little carrier, and when we brought her, we have 4 children. I'll let you do the names.
If I remember them, let's see. Kenzie, Keaton, Kimber, and Kelby.
Mm-hmm. And so we did have the 3 oldest saved here at the church. Shortly not after we came, probably in February-ish, the 2 older ones did, and then about a year later, Kimber did.
And I think one thing that stands out to me is I had the privilege of baptizing the 3 older kids. The two oldest, right after I was baptized into membership, I was able to baptize the 2 oldest and then baptize Kimber at a later point. So.
And hopefully one day Kelby too.
Currently I serve as a deacon, so that makes her a deacon's wife. I help with sound, help with Awana activities, have also served with Kids Camp, and the quasi FBI director, Faith Bible Institute.
I have helped in the Puggles classroom, being a teacher for a couple of years now. That is part of Awanas. That's this 2-year-old program. And then I continue to help with Awanas in capacity. I'm hoping to help with Cubbies this year. And then I've also been singing. You've probably seen me or my daughters up on stage, and help Dave in all those endeavors with Praise Team. And what's the other one called? Ensemble.
Mixed ensemble.
Ensemble,
Yeah,
got it. So that's that. What are we not thankful for? There's a ton of things at Bible Baptist Church to be thankful for. Ken and I were discussing this morning, the people pretty much brought us to this church. We are thankful for the people. There are some people here. I grew up in Chickasha, so there are some very long time acquaintances and friends that I've had since I've been here, and Ken since he's moved here, that we used to go to another church with. So different people have brought us that we are so thankful for, and those people have been instrumental in our lives in helping us build our faith. I also think we are extremely thankful for Faith Bible Institute, right? That's been a really big one. And we discussed this morning, without Bible Baptist Church, we've never even heard of Faith Bible Institute. But it is so important to our family and to help us learn and grow, and even our children want to take the course when they can. So that's another thing to be extremely thankful for.
I'm also thankful that the church is based on the fundamental principles of the Bible. A lot of churches get astray from that, but one thing that I really like is that Bible Baptist is focused on the Word of God. I think growth is one thing. Prior to this whole pandemic, I think the church was growing leaps and bounds, and still moving forward through that right now. I think the church has came strong through this time, but growth is one thing that really excites me.
And I think growth too, just to see the kids growing and learning, and that's a really important thing, is just to see your children follow in the way and to learn and to share also. That's pretty important, pretty special. Anything else?
Is there anything else you want to say? Or?
Yes, there is.
What?
Dave Brinkman is your hero.
Yeah, Dave Brinkman's my hero.
My name is James Lynch. I came to this church in the summer of 1957. We moved to Chickasha. We were visited by Milford Ford, Ronald Davis, Donald O'Brien. Visited our house or visitation one night and invited us to church. So been a member ever since. I've never been a member of any other church. So I've been in this church 63 years as a member. And we was saved the summer of 57 at a revival. Brother Garrett, he was a pastor at that time. And I've been a member ever since. And Sherry and I met at this church. And we raised our family in this church. We have moved away a little bit sometimes therefore, but we've always been back. So I'll see what Sherry has to say.
I moved to Chickasha in 1963 and was visited by Mert York and let's see, it was Pauline Ford, and started coming to the church then. And in '64 I came forward. However, I didn't know, didn't really understand what I was doing, and for all these years I struggled and struggled with the fact, was I really saved, or the doubting fact of, was I saved or not, because I served all those years and I participated and I was in Sunday school and church all those years. And then James and I, after meeting, I moved away, my family did. And then James and I got married. We had 2 sons. And both of our sons were saved at our church and grew up here. And now we've been married 50 years and have been in the church ever since.
Special memories of the church was hay rides at Donald O'Brien's when we were young in Sunday school, and helping out with boys when our boys were young boys, and we used to have a softball team. We played other churches, and I was the captain of the team. I really enjoyed that. We'll work with the youth, so there's a lot of memories involved there, but those stick out most certainly for me.
My memories are going to church camp with the church, and the first year that I went, it was a very small church then. I was the only one that was of age to go of the girls. So they allowed Sharon Reed to go with us, although she was a year younger, and they allowed her to go with us. And we just had a blast at church camp, and Mert York and Maxine O'Brien were in the cabin with us, and the 4 of us just had so much fun together. And then the other one was the year that my family had to leave Chickasha. Mert York had a surprise birthday party for me and had the whole Sunday school class come, and they surprised me, and so that was fun. And like he said, going on the church hay rides and stuff like that.
Well, like I said before, as I said, helping the youth and in the youth department, and when our boys are young, and helping in Sunday school and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed before the pandemic thing. I've enjoyed being a greeter at the door. I loved greeting the people as they're coming in. I help serve whenever we're having dinners and things in the back. I love working in the kitchen. And I also help as an Awana worker. And I love working with the kids.
I, for one, the church has always been here when I needed it or our families needed it. Through sad times, as far as concerned, like deaths and things, the church has always rallied around and helped our family, most certainly. It's just knowing that we can come with whatever problem that we may have to this church and feeling blessed.
And mine, I'm thankful that we have such a loving church. Our church is so loving and giving. Everyone just, when there's a need that everyone just pitches in. They help, they love, and they're giving. And like he said, with our needs, we've had so many family members that's passed on, and the biggest one was when we lost Cody, and they just rallied around us and loved on us and helped us through that. And I'm so thankful for my church for how we're just blessed to have our family. They're my family to me.
Well, I feel the church is growing, and it seems like we're going in a lot of different directions, which is great because there's need in all those directions. So we're in the mission conference now, but there's a lot of mission efforts that I think the church doing in our locale here, and that's a blessing. It's an honor to tell people where I go to church at. I love to tell them where I go to church at. So we're truly blessed.
I am excited, like James said, about the growth, how we're growing, how we're expanding, how we're reaching out. We reach out to our city, we reach out to others. I'm just excited about all of the contacts that have been made. We've had a lot come forward and get saved. We've had a lot being baptized, and I'm just so thankful that we have the ministries that we have that reach out to these that in need.
I'm Jan Capps, and I came to the church in 2009. I moved here after my husband passed away, and I really put off going to Bible Baptist. I visited several other churches, and I really did not want to come out there. But I finally said, okay, Lord, I'll go. And I did, and all it took was me to walk in the door of the church, and I knew this was where the Lord wanted me. You can just feel the Spirit here. You can feel the Lord's love, and it's an awesome place to be. I was so glad the Lord led me here. I tell you, some of the best memory that I have of Bible Baptist Church was because after my husband passed away, Christmas just kind of lost everything. And the Christmas meals that we used to help serve, that was the greatest thing. And it renewed Christmas for me. But really, probably one of the most memorable ones here lately was when we'd been caused to stay home. The last time we were at church was, I think, on March the 13th or the 15th, and then they said we couldn't go anymore. And Mother's Day coming back, it was like coming home. I was with the family again. It was awesome. Well, I've been serving for the last several years as teaching Lydia's Lineage, the women's class. I love it. There's a wonderful bunch of ladies in there. I enjoy helping to serve meals. I've done Bible school over the years. Just, hey, if you need me, I'm here. But basically, I love teaching my Sunday school class. I am so thankful to Bible Baptist Church for just the family of God in this place. They're awesome and wonderful. My kids are off different directions, and this is just family. And when you walk in, you can hug, and you can talk about the Lord. I really miss that if people don't like to talk about the Lord a whole lot. I enjoy that, and I know that anyone I could go up to and we could just have a conversation about the Lord, and I'm so thankful and so grateful for it. I guess what excites me about this church is I don't know what the Lord's going to do, but I feel like Jesus is really fixing to do something big, and I'm just looking forward to whatever it is. I know it's going to be wonderful. Hey, we have absolutely great pastors here. Every one of them has their own unique place in our church, and I'm so thankful and so grateful for each one of them.
My name is Susan Cole. I came to Bible Baptist Church in 2003 when I joined the College and Career Group.
Robbie Cole, Susan's husband. I came shortly thereafter. Susan and I met at USAO and started talking, and she invited me over here because this was the only college class for students that I knew of.
My favorite memory at Bible Baptist Church is when we stand up on the candlelight services on Christmas Eve, and everyone tells how long ago they were saved and where.
Yeah, probably be watching Brother Dave, my daughter in our sanctuary, and our son in his office going through the whole plan of salvation, and watching both of our kids, make that profession of faith and say, yes, I believe in Jesus Christ, and accepting Him into their lives.
In the past, we've done the youth, college and career, the kids, nursery, and currently Awanas.
It's not uncommon on Wednesday nights for you to find at least me in the back playing games with the kids, and Susan's usually in one of the classrooms. That's where we've served since we've been here, and where we enjoy serving. And then you'll find me in the back sometimes on Sundays helping out with sound and media.
I'm most thankful for relationships with different people who took me in from the beginning, like Don and Gary Aldridge and Dave and Tina Wright, and have continued those relationships throughout the year and made many more.
When Susan and I first met and we first started coming to this church, we were both college students at the time, and then I moved to Tulsa and started a job up there. Proposed to Susan. As we were looking at getting married, I'm in the National Guard. I had a deployment coming up as soon as I said, hey, will you marry me? She said yes. The next thing I heard is, hey, you're leaving next year. So part of my decision to really want to stay here was I saw the family, the network, the support that Susan would have here versus if I just said, hey, we're moving to Tulsa and you're not going to know anybody. So it's just that sense of family, that sense of community that we have, all looking out for one another regardless of what's going on in each other's lives, and pulling together and helping each other out.
I'm most excited about my kids right now, with our 3 kids, 2 in the youth group and 1 in the children's ministry, just to see where God leads them and continues to lead us as a family.
Yeah, not just our kids, but watching. Susan and I have spent so much time serving with our Awanas group and helping some of our other youth. through the time we've been here, now we're getting to that point now where we get to see where they're growing to and where they're helping out and serving around the church. And just to see that what little I've had to do with helping put into them, what God's had me to help put into them, now they're using that and they're running with that and they're wanting to serve in different aspects around our church, and how they're leaders themselves whenever they go to school.
Hello everyone, I'm John Phillips. This is my wife Angie.
Hi.
And we were so very blessed and fortunate to have joined Bible Baptist Church January of 2015.
2015. We've been here almost 6 years now. And John and I were both saved when we were younger, but our daughter Aspen was saved at home while attending this church and was baptized here. And then our son Preston, who was also saved at home, was baptized here in Bible Baptist.
That's right.
A special memory for me while attending Bible Baptist Church is, like I had previously said, our son Preston was saved at home but was baptized while we were attending Bible Baptist Church, and my dad actually got to baptize him, so that was a very special moment for me and for Preston and our whole family that I think we'll never forget.
That was definitely a cool moment. For me, hands down, one of my top 5 best moments that I'll ever remember, that I will never forget, was the time that Aspen got saved and we sat down with Pastor Kim, and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, do you want to baptize her?" It never even crossed my mind. And I was just so humbled and just so thankful that Pastor Kim would give me that opportunity. It ranks way up there to be able to baptize one of your kids. A very special moment. So that's definitely my special Bible Baptist Church moment. When you think about Bible Baptist Church, there's a lot of things to be thankful about. For me personally, you're always going to get fed. When we come to church, we're going to hear preaching out of the Bible. We believe the Bible is real. We believe it is God's inspired word. And we're going to be fed. And so when I think about the things about Bible Baptist, that's one of them. The other thing is just how friendly and real the people are. We call it down home country goodness, and just the atmosphere when you walk in is very welcoming, and you notice that from the very first moment you arrive.
For me, one of the things I'm most thankful for is just that, is that the Word of God is taught here. It's not a Baptist agenda or the pastor's agenda. It is God's agenda, and it is strictly out of God's Word. So the focus is on God's Word. And to me, the other thing that I'm most thankful for is the unity that brings, the unity between the members. It is a family, and we are the family of God on our way to heaven together. And so the unity to me is something that I'm very thankful for, that's kind of becoming rare in churches these days.
Yeah. Your Bible Baptist Church is a hands-on church, and that's one thing I love about it. There are so many opportunities to serve. The Spirit of Christmas we've served every year, and our kids, just to see them have the opportunity to give back, that's just pretty cool. We've also served with the Easter stuff that goes on. I'm a deacon at the church. Angie does a lot with decorations, and so we want to be hands-on. And if we're all called to serve, and some people are behind the scenes, and some people are out in the open, and God uses us all.
I think that there's a lot of opportunities to serve at Bible Baptist. I mean, from the time in newborns in the nursery and the children's programs that take place here, through the youth programs to the adult programs, even all the way up to the senior adults. It seems like that there's always a focus on meeting everyone's needs where they are, and so the opportunities to serve range from babies all the way up, and I think that it's a blessing to get to serve together at Bible Baptist. One of the most exciting things to me when I think about the future of Bible Baptist Church is just getting to be a part in what God has planned for Bible Baptist. I think we a lot of times see things in our little finite minds and put God in a box per se, but I think if we would all just listen to the word and be obedient to what he wants us to do and how he wants us to serve, I mean, there are no limits to what God can do. And if we focus on his word and what he wants from us as individuals, it could just be ecstatic. I mean, we do want to see win Chickasha to the Lord, and then Grady County, and then the state of Oklahoma, and missions. I mean, Bible Baptist has a heart for missions, and I think it's just a huge privilege to get to see that and be a part of it and what God's plan is. Who knows what the future holds, but I know God knows, and if we will just say yes and be obedient, we all get to play a part in that.
And when I think about being excited, this is being taped during the time of the COVID virus, and how God has kept his hand on our church, and we are so very blessed. When I think about being excited, our church is strong, very, very strong during these turbulent times. And when you think about there's people coming to know Jesus right now, there's people being saved. We're right in the middle of a missions conference, and our church is all in. And that's the type of church that you want. You want a church that's all in for Jesus. And when we think about being excited, I can't imagine what the future holds. But I know that if we're in the center of God's will, it's going to be right what he wants to see happen. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things to be excited about with Bible Baptist Church. And the future will tell how many souls we reach, how many people come to know Christ through our efforts.
One theme became abundantly clear and shined through.
I'm so thankful for this church, for the people that's here.
It's the people at Bible Baptist Church that make Bible Baptist Church.
I'm thankful for the people.
To be able to sit down with your friends.
Ken and I were discussing this morning, the people.
They're my family to me.
Just the family of God in this place.
So it's just that sense of family, that sense of community that we have all looking out for one another.
It is a family, and we are the family of God.
Bible Baptist Church, loving God, loving others, and serving the world.